is the Ole Miss quarterback, Jaxson Dart.
I'm going to fight and die to protect them with everything I've got.
Quote of the night. Will Campbell will fight and die to protect Drake May. Drake May is my winning QB, as the Patriots found the one guy willing to die for him. Not sure how you replace Will Campbell when he's dead, but I do love it. The biggest winner of the entire NFL draft may have been Joe Flacco. I don't think he's actually as old as Dion, but his chances of starting all the games for the Browns next season improved. And maybe the wildest moment came at the top of the second round when the Saints selected quarterback Tyler Shuck.
He played parts of 7 seasons in college football.
With Shedeur Sanders still available. Who the fuck is Shuck? Well, if you watch my video about him, you will know. The biggest losers in this draft, the 29 dumb butt teams that let these top right corner players fall to the Chiefs, Eagles, and Ravens. Nothing is more terrifying than a top right corner quadrant player going to an already very good team. The first round of the 2025 NFL Draft ended up being a little bit more fun than we thought.
Travis Hunter, wide receiver, defensive back from Colorado.
Colston, Loeveland. Tight end, Michigan.
Wow.
We had a couple surprise trades and draft picks. I'm Brandon Perna, and by the power vested in me by the hair of Mel Kiper,
NFL Draft.
and the brains of Daniel Jeremiah, let me reveal to you the biggest winners and losers from the 2025 NFL Draft, and we're going to kick it off with a special draft edition of the Blop 10 Plays. Blop 10, Deion Sanders, cueing the music to
Kelvin Banks Jr., tackle, Texas.
cover up his disappointment when the Saints passed on Shedeur at 9. Blop 9, the cameraman making Ashton Jeanty look even shorter than 5'8". Would it kill you to pan down there? Tall guy, tall guy, tall guy.
Who let the kid in the draft green room?
Blop 8, Darren Ravel tweeting this. Thank you, Darren. I always wanted to know what the players were wearing under their really cool and elaborate suits. Next year, make sure to tell us who's got a butt plug in when we hear their name called, okay, Darren? Blop 7, the most self-gratifying draft pick out there. Okay, baseball, I know that's baseball, but how could I not put that in today's episode? Tommy Pham? More like Tommy Fap. Blop 6, Mason Graham gave Liam Cohen the Duval in their interview.
As I hit Coach Cohen with that, I hit the Duval right when I walked in the meeting.
The balls on this kid to walk into a job interview and immediately make fun of the most important person in the room. I can't help but respect it immensely.
Like the first thing you said to him?
Yeah.
What did you say?
He just started laughing. Everyone started laughing. It was funny.
Duval. But do not try this at home, kids, unless you too are in the top 0.1% in your field. Even then, you might get stuck playing for the Browns. Blop 5, the Jaguars Fountain of Youth General Manager, Joey Gladstone.
Cut it out. I love you, kid.
This guy is younger than most of the players he's going to select this weekend. One day, he's going to be able to grow a mustache, just like Shad Khan. And after he traded with the Browns, Cleveland might be in trouble for taking advantage of a minor. Blop 4, Roger Goodell rode out onto the draft on a bike without a helmet. You're the commissioner of the biggest sports league in America, and you come out on a bicycle without any protection on your head? How can you pretend to care about concussions? And what about the kids who see you riding a bike carelessly with no helmet, Roger? Safety my ass. Safety my ass. Blop 3, Clay Matthews almost got us.
Just got off the phone with the President Donald Trump. He asked me to pass the message along.
Former players talking trash to their rivals has escalated through the years at the NFL draft.
It says, my fellow Americans, the Bears still suck!
Blop 2, Pat McAfee hitting that weed at the draft.
See?
ESPN went from this.
Stay off the damn weed.
to literally this.
You might have seen a video. That was CBD and vitamins that were happening over here. Yeah. Don't you worry, that was not what you think it was.
Sure, Pat, sure. And this is a six-pack, Pat. This is a beautiful six-pack. And Blop 1, it's Puking Baby. A cute little baby just barfed when Kelvin Banks got the call from the Cowboys. Safe to say that baby really hates the Dallas Cowboys. Or maybe he didn't like the positional value of taking a guard that early. It's really hard to say because while a baby is smart enough to know those things instinctually, they're too dumb to know how to talk and tell us directly.
The Bears still suck!
Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Today's episode is sponsored by Underdog. It's crunch time, motherfuckers. I need you to sign up with my code That's Good at Underdog. We are 204 signups away from hitting 6,000. The goal is to get to that 6,000 signups by the end of the draft. I've got a little time into May to finish making that happen, but if you want to play daily fantasy, if you want to play in pick'em games, do it at my favorite place to play. These are my NBA picks. I know that's not draft related, but I highly recommend Underdog. If we get those remaining 204 signups, it's a $60,000 bonus for That's Good Sports. I am sharing that money with the people who make this channel run and hum. Will Keys, Johnny Barks. I want to keep dumping that into this business, and we are so close. If you want to help support this channel, that is an insanely effective way to do it. My biggest loser of the night was not a team nor a player. It was media guy Jordan Schultz, who kept tipping the draft picks on Twitter. Oh, you think it's cool to tip the picks before the commissioner announces them on live television, Jordan? Well, it's not. There's nothing worse than you scrolling through your timeline and seeing a reporter who couldn't keep it in their pants for 2 more minutes. In some cases, Schultz was 2 picks ahead of the TV, and I have no idea how that even works. But maybe Ian Rappaport needs to get to the nearest Starbucks and finish the job and teach Jordan a fucking lesson. NFL reporters have agreed to not tip picks in the first round out of a courtesy to us fans, and Schultz betrayed that oath to try and gain followers. Thus, he is not a reporter, and we need to shadow ban his ass. Losers, Cowboys fans who thought they were getting a top flight receiver at pick 12. Also losers, guys named Tyler, who are forced to play offensive line for the Cowboys at an alarming rate. You got 3 Tylers on your offensive line. That's crazy. Jerry Jones is 82, so there's no way to know for certain that he's not mixing up his Tylers at this point. Now, Tyler Booker might be great, but I would not have drafted a 3rd Tyler. Nobody has ever won shit with 3 Tylers on their roster. Winning psychopath? Tyler Booker.
What does it feel like to see the love of football leave someone's eyes?
It feels great, you know?
It takes a truly insane baller to talk about how he loves watching other men's joy for football drain from their eyes when he plays against them.
I start to see that love leave their eyes. Like, that's what makes me love the game. Like, I just really love.
Winning draft steal? It always feels like a good team got a steal at the end of round 1 because that's just how good teams stay good. But the Ravens got a safety to pair alongside Kyle Hamilton when they took Georgia safety Malachi Starks, and the Eagles got a stud linebacker with Jihaad Campbell. Both players seem like massive culture fits, but I'm going to give the edge to the Ravens for Starks.
He's such a smart player. Day 1, he started for Kirby Smart.
Because the Eagles traded up 1 spot with that warlock who lives inside of the devil's asshole, Brett Veach of the Chiefs, to get Campbell. Surely that 5th rounder they gave the Chiefs won't turn into the next Chris Jones or Travis Kelce, right? Right? Winning trade? There was a massive trade just 2 picks into the draft when the Browns got a haul to move 3 spots down, handing the 2nd overall pick to the Jaguars. To no one's surprise, the Jags took Travis Hunter with the 2nd overall pick. That's the biggest gamble in this draft, I think. I like the pick for Jacksonville, and I probably would have liked Travis Hunter on any roster. He's going to be an excellent zone corner for the Jags and give Trevor Lawrence a little bit of help on offense as well. I'm sure Liam Cohen's got big plans for him at wide receiver. And then that baby-faced GM from Jacksonville gave us the greatest player endorsement I've ever seen.
Thinking about the sport of football and really the power of the game itself, right? Its capacity to ignite belief, right? Belief in ourselves, belief in others, right? Belief in achieving what many may deem impossible. Travis Hunter, he embodies belief, right? He's a rare person, he's a rare player, but he's also a reminder that the boundaries of the game of football were built to be challenged. And so the decision to select him was actually a statement for how we plan to move, who we are, and we want him to be nothing more than him.
I also really like the Browns moving down, getting Mason Graham, and stacking more picks for a team that needs a lot of cheap assets to figure it out. The Browns were not a Travis Hunter away from being good. The Jags, well, they actually might be. This was one of those rare trades where I think both teams probably won, even if the price was steep, and Jacksonville just sold a shit ton of tickets too. That pool is going to be packed to see football Shohei Ohtani this fall. My sneaky trade, the Rams. So the Browns added a first rounder next year, but so did the Rams. LA traded out of the first with the Falcons, and the fact that they got a first in next year's draft is huge for LA, who could be in the quarterback market come 2026. Atlanta added Jalen Walker and James Pearce, addressing their pass rush for the first time in years. Walker is a great value pick, and Pearce has a ton of upside. Loser, Tyler Warren for having to go to the Colts. No clue how Dallas didn't trade up to get Tyler Warren too. The spirit of Dallas, Dallas Clark, lives on. Another incredible white tight end wearing number 44 has gone to the Indianapolis Colts. There's one minor difference. Instead of catching passes from Peyton Manning, he'll be catching passes from either Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones. Tyler Warren might immediately be the best quarterback in that building if you watched him take snaps at Penn State. If he can add 20 inches to his vertical jump, he could make Anthony Richardson the most accurate quarterback in the NFL. Most polarizing pick, tight end, Colston Loveland to the Bears at 10.
Wow, so it's Colston Loveland, not Tyler Warren. That's a bit of a surprise.
It would take two big dicks to make this move. Poles and Johnson literally translates to penis and penis. So the Bears did have the girth to draft the second best tight end ahead of the best one in this draft. I think Chicago believes Loveland is a better fit for their offense and probably has a bit more of a ceiling as a pass catcher. Warren and Loveland were close, but I think Bears fans fear this is like 2023 with the Bills drafting Dalton Kincaid a handful of spots ahead of Sam Laporta. Biggest surprise? Jahdae Barron. We fucking got McConaughey tweeting at the Broncos. Yes. If this is True Detective or Dazed and Confused McConaughey, we are winning the Super Bowl. If it's Dallas Buyers Club McConaughey, we probably have AIDS. Just about everyone was mocking either a running back or a wide receiver to the Broncos. They were not mocking a corner, a position where Denver has the reigning Defensive Player of the Year holding it down on one side of the field. Either way, the Broncos passed up on Omarion Hampton and went with the best player left on their board, which turned out to be Jim Thorpe award-winning corner Jahdae Barron with the 20th overall pick.
He's a big-time player, in my opinion, the best corner in the draft who's going to plug in as the nickel.
So ultimately, I like this. No-fly zone 2.0. Barron is extremely versatile and is going to fit well with PS2 and Riley Moss. The days of Levi Wallace getting cooked by Jerry Jeudy are over. Barron might be playing in the slot ahead of Jaquan McMillan, who we love here in Denver, but McMillan was the most targeted slot player in the entire league last year. So just having some options there is great. The winning positional group, offensive linemen. Boring as hell, I know, but 7 O-linemen win in round 1. If your team drafted a lineman, Minnesota, New York, Washington, Kansas City, Dallas, you probably all got better. But literally nobody cares. Winning, taking the high road, Aaron Glenn, when he was asked about Aaron Rodgers shitting on him.
Do you have any response to what he said on the show?
Absolutely. Membou's a really good player, and I'm so excited he's a Jag.
I think the quarterbacks were the most losingest position group on Thursday night. I mean, how could they not be after 6 were taken in the first 12 picks a year ago? We had Cam Ward go first overall.
The Tennessee Titans select Cameron Ward, quarterback, Miami.
How did you get picked? Cam Ward, a massive winner, by the way. Maybe the least talked about number 1 overall quarterback since ever. The spotlight's not on him, and I think that's actually a great thing. Hide in the shadows, Cam, and surprise the hell out of everyone this fall. A couple hours passed before the Giants traded back into the first round to take Jaxson Dart, a pick I don't think anyone outside of Joe Shane and his son were all that happy about. Jalen Milroe was at the draft, and he had to sit through 32 picks without hearing his name called, which has to be a little rough. Of course, the big story of the night was Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders falling completely out of the first round, much to the chagrin of Mel Kiper. So overall, we only got 2 QBs taken in the first round, slightly better than 2013 and 2022 when only 1 quarterback was taken, but a far cry from what we've become accustomed to. Ultimately, the draft is a lot less interesting when quarterbacks aren't getting selected. Winning prophecy? This drunk Giants fan who was interviewed by the Bussin' with the Boys before the draft.
1.3 Abdul Carter, okay? And then you have back into the 3rd round. Trade your second, one of your thirds, all right? Get back into the first round, right? Been drinking. Does that sound right? Does that sound about right?
That sounds great. He perfectly predicted what the Giants would do. Now, Jaxson Dart, massive winner for getting drafted in the first round by the Giants, leapfrogging Shedeur without throwing any more passes since January. That's amazing. And many football experts like his game film more than Sanders. Dan Orlovsky loves his pocket presence and says he has the best arm in this class. On paper, this situation is great. He doesn't have to start. He gets Brian Daboll as his head coach, the man who helped mold Josh Allen into the perfect specimen he is. But his mentors are Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. Spicy. He'll be dropping the worst catchphrases and stealing crab legs in no time. I think the Giants may have helped their team the most in the first round. Best player available in Abdul Carter at pick 3 and possibly a franchise QB at 25. And the Giants didn't even have to cough up a first round draft pick to get Jaxson Dart. Great value. And yes, the losing quarterback was Shedeur Sanders. Bigger losers? All the people relishing in the fact that he fell out of the first round. Who knows if he'll be good in the NFL at this point. And it's cool if you didn't think he was a first round prospect. I get that. I'm happy that you know ball. But I think taking a victory lap when someone gets bitch slapped by the reality of the NFL draft, it's a weird look. Unless it's me talking about someone I don't like. This must have been Shedeur Sanders in his interviews for him to fall this far.
You see this watch? Yeah. That watch costs more than your car. I made $970,000 last year. How much you make?
Losing receipt? Deion Sanders tweeting about Shedeur being a top 5 pick made its way back into the Twitter sphere. That was from last May, and it got community noted. And I think this brings up an important ethical question. Should community notes be applied to trash talking? There's a very good chance Derek Carr doesn't play football this season with a shoulder injury, and the Saints at the top of the 2nd round selected quarterback Tyler Shuck. Saints? Winners, I guess. You had Shedeur Sanders available, you went Shuck. If Tyler Shuck is good, this is going to be one of the best stories from this draft. His 7-year journey through college football is quite wild. I don't know what's going on with Shedeur Sanders. That I don't know, but...
What's that? And then I couldn't unsee it when I went back to tape.
Well, if you're looking for the best pure thrower of the ball, it's Tyler Shuck.
If Jaxson Dart develops into a good NFL quarterback, the Steelers will be giant losers, pun intended. There's other quarterbacks in this class, and Pittsburgh will draft one. Electing for a defensive tackle when a team who has a better quarterback situation than you moves up to take the quarterback you could have had at 21 opens you up for a lot of criticism. If you end up with Jalen Milroe and he's great, I'll revise, because ultimately I think the Derek Harmon pick's very good for the Steelers. And in probably the most gut-wrenching story from the draft, Derek Harmon's mom passed away shortly after he was drafted. So take out the quarterback. I think we're all rooting for the guy, and I think that is a crazy emotional situation to be in, getting drafted to the NFL while your mom is sick. We're rooting for you, Derek. Winning college? This goes to Ohio State, who had the most first-round dudes selected at number 4. The interesting thing for Ohio State winning this honor is their first player didn't go until pick 19 when the Buccaneers kind of surprisingly drafted receiver Emeka Egbuka. Guard Donovan Jackson went to the Vikings at 24, giving them really nice stability for the interior of their line. Tyleik Williams at 28 to the Lions to beef up their D-line. And with the final pick, the Chiefs drafted tackle Josh Simmons. Count them, 4 Buckeyes. And if Josh Simmons protects Mahomes' blind side the way I think he will, I will want to stab out my eyes so I can be blind. I also wanted to give an honorable mention to Michigan, who had 3 players drafted in the first round. Mason Graham, Colston Loeveland, and Kenneth Grant all went top 15. Jim Harbaugh's been gone for a year, but you can see just how deep his recruiting classes still are. This is what happens when you go as far as to bunk with your recruits. They all get drafted. Losing colleges, the Ivy League. Have fun with your brains, because you got no athletes in the first round like usual, you pompous, smug pricks. You're gonna have to wait until those Fitzpatrick kids are draft eligible to correct this shit, aren't ya? Enemy of my enemy, the Raiders and Chargers. The Broncos, Raiders, and Chargers all needed a running back, so it is a little awkward watching your division rivals both draft top 2 running backs when your team goes corner. I hate that Ashton Jeanty is a Raider. Ashton Jeanty feels like the sexiest pick of the first round, too.
You talk about 2 guys who hate to be tackled.
The Raiders just stayed at 6 and got a dude who could be the best skill player in this draft class. Denver really never had a chance to get Jeanty, so I'm more worried about Omarion Hampton rushing for 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns as the Chargers win 14 games this season. Missed opportunity goes to Sean McDermott. Jihaad was available for the Bills at pick 30. Imagine how well his 9/11 speeches would land with a dude named Jihaad in the locker room. And my favorite guy, Maxwell Harrison. Not just because he was the best supporting actor.
You have hugged every single prospect that has been called before you tonight.
Showing nothing but love for every guy drafted before him in the green room. But the corner from Kentucky who was selected by the Bills showcased what the NFL draft is all about.
I'm so happy to hear my name called. It's truly a dream come true.
His nickname is Mad Max Harrison, which is a terrible nickname for a guy who seems so damn nice.
Me everywhere I go. I love my family, man. My biggest support system.
Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on this YouTube channel. Thank you guys, all of you who just subscribed over the last week. We fucking crushed it. I appreciate the support. It really means the world to me.